Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Eamon Williams, and this is the second video in a series connecting communication theory to outdoor education. Today, we will be looking at how Outward Bound will impact you, a communication theory analysis. Before we jump into this, I would just like to discuss the topic of liminality. What is liminality and why is it important? Well, liminal experiences are events where after they have occurred, something significant has changed. If you're wondering what makes outdoor programs liminal, then this video series is for you. By using communication theories to articulate the ways this shift, specifically in identity, happens, it can be better understood why having experiences in outdoor programming is so important. Even if you are only interested in hearing about how each outdoor institution is unique in its delivery of this experience, tune in as we learn about what Outward Bound does for its participants and society at large. The driving question for this video and the subsequent videos is, how do liminal outdoor experiences and the institutions involved help to shape an individual's identity within a culture? Considering that I have discussed this driving question in my previous video, I encourage my viewers to start this series from the beginning. However, in case you cannot, let me give you a condensed summary of the underlying constructivist foundations of my driving question, as well as note the additional theories I would like to cover in this video. Analyzing this driving question through the lens of constructivist theory is useful for a variety of reasons. Most notably, according to Palmaru in 2016, on page 31, given that constructivism assumes everything we take to be real, to be an outcome of social relationships, this theory prioritizes communication in the social environment as it relates to my driving question. This is an important theory as the social dimension of outdoor experiences contributes to its significance as a liminal experience. In addition to the previous theories covered in the last video, ethnography of communication, cultural studies theory, symbolic interaction theory, and cultural identity theory, dialogic theory will be introduced. So, what is Outward Bound? Outward Bound is a non-profit educational organization that has adventure education schools across the country. With a focus on experiential learning, participants at Outward Bound schools have the opportunity to do a variety of outdoor tasks, from sailing on the high seas all the way to community service in the cities of America. Through the use of their unique education framework, participants will learn leadership and collaboration skills, become empowered, and hopefully even desire to make a change within their local communities. The most important aspect of Outward Bound is their desire to provide service both for the individuals that participate in programming and the communities that Outward Bound is a part of. In this way, Outward Bound is a premier provider of inspiring change in the world. Why are experiences at Outward Bound liminal? The theory of ethnography of communication can be used to help understand the culture of communication within Outward Bound programming. Enrolled students are encouraged by their peers and their instructors to rely on one another. When on an expedition in cold weather, participants should be able to communicate their needs to one another and share in the challenges that they face. The idea that every participant in a program is needed is critical to ensuring that everyone grows together throughout the experience. O'Connell's research on sense of place in 2019, on page 292, reinforces how essential it is to the significance of programming that participants feel needed and that they belong. In their study, nearly every participant commented on the importance of the friendships they made as a result of the outdoor orientation experience. Oftentimes during programming, participants in a group will experience a stage of group conflict that can pose an obstacle to sense of place and communication aimed at inclusivity. Dialogic theory provides context to the process groups go through when establishing a basis of cooperation. In a study conducted by Duckworth et al. In 2019, on page 237 that has similar elements of conflict, leadership, and the importance of dialogue, they find that by focusing on open dialogue, participants can share in an environment that fosters better understanding. The importance of meaningful dialogue, especially when in moments of conflict, can become incredibly significant events of growth and elevate an outdoor group experience to a liminal event. What is the culture surrounding Outward Bound? Outward Bound has a strong culture of helping people develop the strength, confidence, and determination they need to thrive in society. Additionally, it is central to their purpose to serve the communities which they inhabit and contribute to the greater good. Cultural studies theory is an effective theory when analyzing how the culture of Outward Bound and its reproduction of culture contributes to society. According to Martin et al. In 2020, on page 259, Outward Bound has managed to evolve successfully through a combination of maintaining strong core values while also being responsive to changes in the macro environment. This description of the evolution of culture at Outward Bound, New Zealand, affirms the positive effect the organization's culture has put into society, even while society has changed throughout the decades while still maintaining their core values. From a closer look at Outward Bound's culture and the core values they instill in participants, development communication theory illuminates the organization's ability to mold societal development through communication skills. Part of Outward Bound's core outcomes include the ability to collaborate, communicate, solve problems, and resolve conflicts effectively. From Outward Bound, their website, which requires the development of interpersonal skills. Through assisting participants with their character development as it relates to communication skills, the organization is preparing future generations to communicate effectively and enhance the development of society. This connection between interpersonal communication skills and development communications theory is reaffirmed in Freiere's article on the subject in 2011 on page 46, where it states that interpersonal communication plays more of a fundamental role in communication development than originally thought. How will Outward Bound change your identity? At Outward Bound, core values of the organization focus on development of character and teamwork. Presentation of self theory is useful as a tool for analysis in the development of this identity in outdoor programs such as at Outward Bound. In outdoor education programming, it is the social, physical, and task environments that are a part of programming that necessitate these developments within their participants. On the topic of their educational approach, Outward Bound shares their perspective on this matter, stating, "Through shared challenges, adversity, failure, and success, students discover and develop new skills, confidence, and passion." What is important comes from the participants' experiences during programming. On the topic of presentation of self theory, Beams, in 2008, as cited in Goffman, 1959, on page 244, agrees with this conclusion about the development of presentation of self, quoting, "The self does not derive from its possessor, but from the whole scene of his action." What this means is, it is the experiences that one participates in that helps to shape the identity that you present to others. Considering the experiences that occur on Outward Bound programming, others will notice the increased confidence and difference in your overall character. Thank you all for tuning in to this second video in my series connecting communication theory to outdoor education. I hope to see you in my next video where I'll be covering the outdoor institution Skatistan.